Something's wrong with him. Oh,
All right. Well, don't complain where Brian and I take it.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. I'm feeling fine. Everything's good. All right. So, what we're going to talk about today is where is Tesla right now? Do you think that they're ahead of expectations? Are they behind them? Or exactly where you think the market should be thinking about them? Let's take a look at all the different categories, right? Production, deliveries, robo taxi, AI chips, regulatory, legal risk, all these kind of things. Could they be slowed down? So let's talk about how they're positioned from the business, the stock. We'll find out what these guys think. Welcome, Brian. Welcome, Nick. How are you guys doing?
Oh man, so great. Yeah, actually pretty good. It's a busy week. There's, as always, so much news to cover. Yeah, doing great. How about you, Nick?
I'm doing fantastic. Actually, I had a rough morning where I had to tear into someone, but besides that, I'm good.
Was it
exactly?
No, some stubs I had on here that I have expectations, and when they're not met, you're going to hear from me.
Well, let's talk about expectations.
Exactly. Are you mad at Tesla because Tesla's not meeting your expectations, Nick?
I am not. I am not mad at Tesla. I think Tesla's doing a great job, but Tesla can do a better job. And guess what? I'm going to talk about where they can do better. Getting awareness around FSD. Awareness around FSD. Call it advertising, call it marketing, call it saving lives, call it whatever you want to call it. But that's the one place where I would critique them. And that's it. Everything else, I think they're doing great.
Why don't we go down the list here? Okay, are they doing great with cars, auto sales?
Let's start with. Let me address Nick's very good points. I saw your post about that. FSD is a lifesaver. Let's get the word out. Call it outreach. I don't care what you call it, but people don't know. And to the people saying, I never signed up to be part of your real world experiment. Buddy, I never signed up to be on the road with you texting and driving. That's illegal and dangerous. I've seen people say, I wouldn't even want to use FSD if it means I can't also text. You are the person who should not be on the road in the first place. So yeah, let's go category by category. What's the first one you wanted to bring up, Herbert?
I mean, Tesla's a car company, isn't it? And it's still a car company, but apparently sales are falling off the cliff. Nobody expects that 2 million sales anymore. Are you guys thinking 1.8 million? What are you guys thinking?
I don't know. I'm definitely disappointed in car sales. I believe that the Mexico factory should have moved forward. I believe that would have been a good move. I made a video explaining why it should have happened, in my opinion. And I understand the pivot to more affordable models, to not more affordable, but to the robotaxi model entirely. But if all cars can be robotaxis, shouldn't we have more of them on the road today? I am confident that they know what they're doing. A lot of the doom and gloom predictions that we've seen. Didn't you see Germany sales and England sales were way down in the first month of the quarter? Guys, we're back to delivery wave because Juniper hasn't fully ramped yet out of Berlin, and it takes time to unwind that. This is the same nonsense we saw in 2019. It's not real. Let it go. It's over. It's completely over in Europe. Well, really, because some countries are showing higher sales than ever before. Well, China, there's too much competition, right? But they're making tons of cars. It's just that they now have more markets to serve from the same hub. And the competition has finally gotten a little bit good in China. There are cars you can get that are vastly cheaper and almost as good. They're not as good. They're close. But there is reason to think they could do better, and they are doing better. And for those of us who have met some of the engineers that work there, we have tremendous confidence in their abilities, but I think they could do better. What do you think, Nick?
I think that the problem is not car sales. The problem is lack of awareness with FSD, because if there was awareness of FSD, that would lead to car sales. And so ask not what the car sales are, ask what the awareness of FSD is, and that will lead to car sales. At the end of the day, they are not an auto company. They're as much of an auto company as Amazon is a bookstore, as Netflix is just a rental business. No, they're not.
I would,
Amazon,
yeah.
the delivery store at the end of the day, is a delivery business. It's a experience business. Netflix is a entertainment company. They're not just a movie company or show company or whatever, you know. And Tesla is it's an autonomous AI tech company. They're not just a car company. The car is the no pun intended vehicle to which you receive the tech services and the autonomy. It is merely the medium that is used to get access to those things. And so again, I think all roads lead back to FSD awareness.
I would take your Amazon analogy a little bit further and say Amazon is just a website, and or just delivery. And the reality is, yes, everything Amazon does have web. I mean, it does. There is internet involved, and it is just delivery, whether that's physical goods or digital. Everything. I mean, Netflix uses Amazon Web Services. If they didn't, when the new series of some big show comes out, it would crash instantly. It is a gross oversimplification to think because I can build a website. yeah. Good luck. You can't build what Amazon's doing.
You're probably
and
going
we
to do
know
it on
because
Amazon.
it would be no. I refuse to use them. I'm using somebody who uses Amazon. Wait,
Gotcha.
that's still the same thing. And so, and with Netflix, yeah, people think of it as just movies, but what it really is a canceling machine. They take great shows and just cancel them. So that's what they do best. But yeah, you have to look at how all these core competencies tie together. If Optimus is the future, and many people think it is, I think it's going to be a very strong pillar of the company. Could you make Optimus if you didn't have the battery technology, if you didn't have the battery management, if you didn't have the ability to make electric motors in unprecedentedly precise ways, if you didn't have the ability, just even the robot was run through the crash test simulator before they built it so that they would know. And the competition looked at that and said, crash test. Oh, we would have saved so much money because they didn't know. I mean, they built it by guess and by golly, and it worked eventually, but parts of it are probably still overbuilt, over-engineered, and parts of it are definitely still underbuilt. So having all those core competencies come together is critical.
And I would just add, Herbert, you're supposed to be resting today.
Herbert,
okay?
come on.
I would just
I've got opinions.
Yeah, but this is the Brian and Nick show, Herbert. You're just a guest.
You're just a pretty face. So just add one other
Stop
point.
joking.
Because if I was on the other side of this, I would probably be like, hey, Nick, why weren't you calling for this whole time? Why are you just now caring about this? And I think there's a very important distinction to make. We are now at a place where Tesla feels confident enough to put robo-taxis out there without someone right behind the wheel. We have all experienced the version of FSD we have now, and I think we would all say it is definitely at a point where you can put it out there and get more people to adopt it, and it's not a risk of someone just accidentally doing something stupid, right? Like if you're going to do something improper, you really got to try. You have to be malicious in intent. And it works so good so much of the time that at this point, the narrative has changed. And that's why I think it's such a big push now where we need to. But I know I'll hear anecdotes where people be like, oh, it's not ready yet. My Cybertruck does this or this, that, and it's not ready, whatever. And it's like, guys, the CEO is literally on every call saying, if you don't believe us, try it out. So if we have the ability to be that confident to say that, then we should have the ability to be confident enough to push it full force.
They had to make FSD. They had to make FSD foolproof, and the problem is they just keep making better fools. And I don't know if you've tried this, Nick, but what happens if you're on FSD and you unbuckle your seatbelt? Have you ever tried that?
It won't let you.
It'll
yell at you.
It kicked it out. Red hands grab the wheel. And I think that's great. There were people before in-cabin monitoring who would engage in all manner of unsafe behavior. And those days are largely gone. I mean, you'll always find somebody who is trying to push the limits. But unless you are trying to be a fool, this is the safest system out there, and I think you'll do great. Herbert, were you going to jump in at some point? Or?
Yeah, I was
Come on, man. It can't just be us.
Yeah. All right. So the question was, right, we're breaking down into categories. We're talking about vehicle sales, and then we'll go on to the others. But, thinking here is that is so 2024. Counting cars is so 2024, man. I mean, we are in the middle of a transition, and I would say that car sales this year is behind what we all were hoping and expecting. But compared to all the other automakers, Tesla's doing incredibly well compared to everyone else. But do we wish that they were selling more cars? Absolutely. However, we are in transition. So I'm very happy with and I think ahead of schedule. We're about to launch more affordable vehicles. We just launched the Model Y L. We're about to do Cybercab in production and autonomy. So FSD is farther ahead. People will say, "Now, how can you say that?" It's been 8 years. Every single year, Elon said it's going to happen this year or happen by next year. I'll be shocked if it wasn't by next year. You're right. All that's right. But for me, it's still like, are you not pinching yourself sometimes? Aren't you like sitting here going, this car is driving itself everywhere I go? It's like, it's happened and it is real and it's here. And so now they're launching Robotaxi. So now all the cars will have this full self-driving with the ability to drive itself. That is that transition year. Am I worried at all that we're going to be talking about, we're behind in car sales in 2, 3, 4 years from now? No. So
let's continue on car sales. We've got let's call them Y plus and likely Y minus coming up soon. Mm-hmm. Those are presumably both going to be moving additional units. You've got the Cybercab coming at some point soon, which will be moving however many units feasible. I think logistics will be the limiting factor on that rather than a production capacity. And then perhaps Roadster, that may be on the imminent horizon for the first time in forever. Those are all additional things that can move units.
Brian, if it's Model Y L, L for long, will it be Model Y S for short, small, stubby?
Maybe.
Model Y A, Model yeah. It's going to be affordable.
Model yeah.
Model yeah. I mean, I think that. So first of all, I'm pretty shocked that everybody I asked, and I haven't asked you this, Nick, how many Model Y Ls do you think Tesla will sell at scale, like when it's moving along? Jeff Lutz and our man here, Brian, think closer to the 1 million per year. I think that's too much. If that's the case, how many of this Model Y A would they sell?
Well, we don't know what it is, so impossible to say.
So where are you with the Model Y L? Is it a big seller?
I don't know.
So I think it'll be a big seller, Nick, because it'll be just a few, it'll be, 10, 20% more on the payment. So if you're at 4, it'll be 440, 480. That's not a big jump, whatever it is, depending on your down payment and all that. And it would be a lot more car. You've got a lot more utility. People love their, Suburbans and Yukons and all that for no reason other than they're big and comfortable. I think it's not the only downside for size is, well, what is my range impact? Minimal, almost none. Okay, well, can I still park it? Guys, this isn't an Escalade. This isn't a Hummer. This is 7 inches longer, nose to tail. It is, and get FSD. Why are you parking a car? Parallel parking? That's for the birds, man. Let the car do it. And to Nick's point about FSD awareness, up through version 12, I was not one to recommend it as something you would even necessarily want to try for more than novelty's sake, unless you lived in California. California version 11 worked very well. But now it's to the point, Herbert, you asked, do I pinch myself? No, because I forget to, because it's that good. I forget. And then when I have to drive a car manually, it feels weird. It feels like I have nothing but blind spots because while the car always knows, all the cars around me, which direction they're going, what they're doing, I have only forward-facing vision because I am a predator. It's my species.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Honestly, I don't care how many vehicles are delivered. I just think it's if counting cars are so 2025 or 2024, then why is the next question about something that's so 2024? I don't know. I don't care how many, like, just robotaxi, FSD. I think
Okay,
that's
let's talk
the matter.
robotaxi and FSE. Where do
Well,
you
because
guys
to me,
think?
the deliveries are the future robo-taxis.
But there'll be
and the-
cyber
Yeah,
camps.
but exactly.
So
So that's why,
it's
yeah.
like deliveries is people buying the car, and it's eventually that won't matter anymore because it's Tesla creating cars that they're going to use for their own service. That's what matters. It's all about robotaxi expansion, scalability, right? So where are you guys in your so robotaxi launched in June 22nd in Austin. They've expanded to California, and you've seen all of Elon's posts this weekend about what to expect that's coming soon. Is this ahead of schedule? Is it behind schedule? What are you guys thinking?
on schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see more vehicles out there. There will be. I think, and I said this on a show on your channel, Herbert, the rate at which Tesla's been increasing the size of their geofence is evidence to me that it is not a geofence, but a logistical fence. The car will, if you wanted to make it a long, skinny route that just connected two places, it wouldn't care. The only thing you need is more vehicles to make it fit. I saw a chart comparing Waymo to Uber um, to Robotaxi, and here's the price, here's the wait time, and I'm like, wrong metrics. None of that matters. The only question is, does it work? Uber, it works, and it's expensive, and it will always be expensive because there's a human in a car that wasn't designed for this purpose. Robotaxi, well, the wait time is longer. It's twice as long as a Waymo. No, it isn't, because it took you 4 tries to get a Waymo when you ordered one. The first 3 you got were human drivers, and you canceled the ride. That doesn't apply. And what the wait time is today isn't going to make any difference tomorrow when they double or triple or, put one on every block just sitting there waiting for you. Who knows? I don't think it'll go quite that far, but it's too early to be comparing and contrasting and complaining. And I think that the robotaxi story is just getting started.
You think it's on schedule? Okay,
I think
Nick.
it's on schedule. I'd love to see it go a little quicker, but I think Elon's approach of let's not rush this and
Brian.
goof something.
Oh my
Hey,
gosh.
I'm excited. I get it. I'm easily excited, Herbert.
I want it to be more. Okay.
No,
Hard
I'm
to
not
please.
complaining. I already said on schedule. Come on,
Okay.
man.
On schedule.
I believe it or not, I would actually say that we are ahead of schedule. I'll tell you why. I don't think that on June 22nd, when we saw the small geofence, or I actually like what you said better, operational, logistical fence, whatever you said. That was nicely said, Brian. If you would have told other people that in less than 2 months, we will have expanded 2 times already in Austin and already surpassed Waymo coverage in California within 2 months, in less than 2 months, and that it seems pretty clear that Tesla's, just going to keep slow rolling it out. They're rolling it out, but they're slowly rolling it until they get this next FSD version out there. And it seems like that's going to be the point where they step on the accelerator. I don't think we would have actually believed that's how it would pan out. I think we would have thought our optimistic side says, yeah, it's going to happen fast. It's going to get there. Everyone's going to get it. It's going to expand. It's going to crush Waymo, all that. But I think in the back of our reality side of our brains with Tesla, we'd be like, yeah, but probably not. It's probably not going to be we've been horrible with timing as investors. I'm not talking about Tesla themselves, but us and what we project. I don't think we've been that great at timing when things will happen. And so while I don't think they're way ahead of schedule, I would say they're slightly ahead of what I would have. If you told me, hey, Nick, take your entire net worth and place your bet on where they'll be and what milestones they would have had, there's no way I would have said everything they've already done. So like I don't know. So I'll give the nod that they're slightly ahead.
Well, let me blow your mind, because I didn't realize
blow
this
it.
wasn't public knowledge, but there is another expansion coming on like the 17th is when it's expected. That's going to reach all the way out to the airport and the factory.
In Texas?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I didn't know that. I'm learning this for the first time.
Yeah.
Some of us are in the know, Nick, and some of us aren't.
Is
Looks
that a
like.
post? How did I miss that post?
Well, we
I
can't tell
think
you.
Herbert and I are both Patreons of the same person.
Okay. So I paid money for my info. Is that what you're saying? I don't pay any money for info.
You don't, but you support people on Patreon. That's where I heard it.
No, I don't do that.
Oh, well, I support the community.
Wait, that's in a couple days. But
4
that
days,
goes
not a
my
couple.
point though, where I think they're ahead of schedule. It's I think they're going to keep slow rolling this out, and I think they're waiting until the. I mean, assuming that's true, and you guys aren't messing with me because I just believed everything you said like a fool. But I don't know if you guys are messing with me, but I really think that they're waiting for this next version of FSD to. I mean, that's what it seems like. It just seems like they're really trying to slow roll until they get this next FSD version out there, and it seems like that's the one where they are going to feel very, very confident to go hard.
So
At least it feels that way.
The
We'll
FSD that they're using in Robotaxi in Austin, Elon said, is 6 months ahead of the ones we're using. They're about to launch the 10x parameter. He said second half of the end of next month, and he said that it's in testing now. So I agree with you, Nick. They'll probably roll that out into Austin, Robotaxi, and then roll it out to all of us as well, second half of, or the end of next month. So my answer to this question is that I think we are ahead of schedule of what I was expecting. When it launched on June 22nd, and you heard Elon saying it's going to be dip-toe. But the only thing that matters, honestly, to me, it's actually not the size of the geofence, it's not the number of vehicles. Those are signals, but what matters is FSD ready? And for me, that is ahead of schedule, because I'm using FSD in my car right now in Pacific Northwest, and it's been perfect for me in my car, in my experience. Not everybody experiencing this way, I get that, but for me, it's been perfect. So for me, I'm going, this is amazing. This thing works. Then I can see what's happening in Robotaxi in Austin today. And as far as we're aware, again, we don't have the data. There's only been one major incident. It wasn't even a major incident, but one incident that the city of Austin has identified. Meanwhile, Waymo's having hundreds of incidents ever since the beginning of this year. Again, not to compare to the two at all, but FSD is progressing. If it's true, what Elon says, that in the second half of next month, we'll have the 10x parameters, that's even better than what they have in Robotaxi. That's what matters. And it's like exactly what Brian was saying. It feels to me, maybe I'm wrong, that it's not that they haven't expanded vehicles or geofence because FSD is not ready and they have to wait for FSD is ready, versus they haven't done that only because of logistics reasons. But FSD is pretty well ready. They just want to be very safe. They want to manage public, kind of just recognizing that there is no issues and all that. That's what I think it feels like to me, that the product works. That's what's important for us to measure.
So you're with me in saying that you think it's a little bit ahead of schedule. Mm-hmm. How would you quantify that?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's again, the easy answer would be geography, the expansion. Now you got to California and so forth. But for me, it's the platform, the tool, the fact that has not been major issues at this point. It's crazy that it's been 2 months and there hasn't been, basically it works. It's rock solid. We're getting reviews left, right, and center now. It's expanding and people are saying that works. So for me, it's like I was expecting that there would be many more incidents. But yes, you can say, well, it's because there's less cars, it's only invite only, there's less trips. But still, in that sense, I think we're doing better than I expected.
I wanted to point out something I saw in the news that was very silly. Apparently, according to Uber, the Waymos do more rides per day than 99% of their human drivers. Mm-hmm. And nowhere in the articles that I looked at did it point out that, well, yes, that's because all of their rides are 1 mile long. Nobody's doing a 40-mile drive out of town from the airport. Nobody's crisscrossing town all day trying to find a fare. They're only doing the shortest rides possible. So yeah, of course you're going to do more than certainly even if you're only operating daylight hours, you're going to get more rides if you're only doing short ones. So I thought
And it
that
makes sense, right? Because like the human driver, they don't want to accept those rides because they are not as revenue generating for their time.
Mhm.
Whereas the Waymos, they don't care. So it's a nice fit for those short ones. Whereas an airport run, I imagine the humans like, give me that all day. That's
Mhm.
easy.
When I was in Ocala, I took an Uber from Ocala back to Orlando. The
Wow,
event
that's long.
organizer, it was long. Drake was going to drive me, but he was feeling under the weather. I took an Uber and it was $250. And I got in the car and I said, I am so sorry that I am dragging you so far. He goes, sorry, when I drop you off, I'm done for the day. I'm going back home. Made my money. So yeah, whereas a Waymo would get there and go, logistically, how do I organize my fares to get me in the right direction? And it might take a Waymo. Well, a Waymo would be in trouble, but it might take a robo taxi, which can charge itself 2 days to get back fare by fare by fare, but it could do it. So that would be, and 250. I mean, that's more than I paid for my airfare.
Okay. What about the
It's about what I
transition
paid for the
of
air. It's about what I
Tesla?
paid.
Yeah.
The transition of Tesla to an AI company. You guys think that that is ahead of schedule, behind schedule, on track?
It's done. It happened.
Exactly.
I will defer
That's right.
to you guys because to me, AI is still hard to wrap my head around. I think while you can say it has happened, you can also say it's in the first 5%,
Yeah.
and that what it's going to do next is going to be so much bigger and so much more.
Oh, I agree. I agree with
Yeah.
that. But in the same way, you can say the baseball game just started and we're in the top of the first inning. Okay, well, the game started. Like, we're there.
Mhm.
No matter how many
We
innings
are
you're in, we are
we
there.
are in the stadium.
Yeah, they've transitioned. They are an AI company. Like this, we've had lower and lower sales, lower and lower numbers, and the stock keeps holding up. That is not because we're a car company. It's because people see what's happening. It's clearly an AI company. All the chips are there. They've launched robo taxis in 2 different states now. We're an AI company. And furthermore, I would say we are the only real AI company in the world. And the reason I say that because in my lexicon, when I think AI, I think human replacement. And I will say this to the top of my lungs. I say it constantly. I never hear anyone else talk about this. You cannot tell me another AI solution out there right now that is replacing a human being. You can't tell me another one. I promise you, you can't. And so autonomy will replace humans. It will be very disruptive. All this other stuff, you hear about companies laying people off. I'm telling you right now, it's not because of AI. Okay, like listen, I'm in that world. That's not why people are getting laid off. Okay, that is not why. We don't have all these amazing agents in the background replacing people and all that. If that was the case, HR would be gone. Marketing teams would be gone. They'd be the first ones gone. All right. We'd see all these developers out there without jobs. None of that's the case. All right. So everything you see, it's fugazi, as they say. Autonomy is the only real AI project right now that is going to displace humans and is where people should be looking at. Everything else is nothing but a productivity helper. It's going to make people more efficient as of right now.
But if you're replacing a team of 5 people with 1 supervisor and 6 agents,
It's
6
not
AI
happening.
agents,
It's not happening.
I will defer to you on that. I have read a bunch of stories that say it is happening, but I haven't seen it show up in like
Oh,
unemployment
there's
data yet.
stories everywhere. There's stories everywhere about this. There's news articles about this, but no one can talk about the company or the teams or the people. They're nowhere to be found.
I don't follow it
crazy.
closely enough to know, but I will agree with you that Tesla's approach is embodied. Whether it's the vehicles or the robot, these are physical objects that are very easy to understand. And if you're looking to invest in an AI startup, my question is always, what's the revenue model? And who are the competitors? And if you want to make a new one that makes music or art or language, the answer is you've got infinite competition. And I don't know who's going to pay you instead of someone else. So you would need, if you were a startup today, I don't know what advantages you'd be looking to have to convince me to invest, but I just don't think you could do it. Where even if you were to say, we've got a new AI startup that already has perfectly working FSD, I would say, great. How long is it going to take you to get it into someone's car? Assuming you actually have the training data, which you don't, it's going to take 3 to 5 years from the time you convince someone that it works, minimum. And then we're talking 2030. Guys, that's too late. So I would agree with you on all that.
Yeah, I think that Tesla is way ahead in the AI than I was expecting. And I took issue with what you said earlier, Brian, where you said, you did a show where you thought that Tesla should have built a gig of Mexico. I had asked the same question to the Cyberbulls panel. And my answer to that was, what happened this year was in lieu of a gig in Mexico, a net new factory to build vehicles, Tesla chose to create Cortex 1 and Cortex 2. Tesla is an AI company now, and they're investing their money building large AI data centers. So in terms of the progress of Tesla today, I'm so happy, very happy that today I'm looking at the company and seeing not only do they have Cortex 2, right, about to be built, massive. They already have one of the largest supercomputers, but they have a relationship with XAI, which already has 2 of the largest supercomputers in the world. This is much further ahead than I was expecting a year, 2 years ago. Alexander Mertz and I were banging the drum going, Tesla needs to put $10 billion into AI. We want to see them to spend that amount in AI compute. And everybody at that time was saying, no, Tesla should do buybacks. We were having debates on the show over and over and over again. Why should Tesla do it now? They're saying, no, Tesla has so much money that it's just one of the things that they can do without having to sacrifice investing in factories and so forth. But aren't you happy today that they didn't do the buybacks? Because they need all the money that they have right now for robo-taxi scaling, robot scaling, AI data center scaling. So for me, the AI story of where we're at today is further ahead than I was expecting. And I'm glad that they're building these Cortex 2. If they weren't doing this, I'd be very, very upset about that.
In terms of, buybacks, a buyback is a dumb investor's idea of a smart investment. The people who are calling for that are looking at short-term gains. Ignore them. There's a $33 billion cash pile. They could have built the factory in addition to the data center. Mm-hmm. And there's the people involved are different people. Tesla can do more than one thing at a time. I was always against the Mexico factory at the time with the USMCA. I thought having a factory that close to Austin was a mistake, but
it's so part of it, what you said is true. Part of it I don't believe is true. So Elon very specifically has a very specific goal of keeping free cash flow positive. And if you notice what they did this quarter, second quarter results, they wanted to maintain that free cash flow positive. So they don't want to spend the money without, thinking about cash flow. And so, they have cash, but they don't want to sacrifice the free cash flow.
33 billion. I mean, what's a few tens of billions between friends? I think they could have done both. I think it would have given them more vehicles on the road to convert to robo-taxis as soon as they're ready. And I think it would have allowed them entry into developing markets, South and Central America, Southeast Asia, where lower cost cars are the name of the game. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you look at some of these developing countries that have really aggressive electrification targets, think Ethiopia, think Nepal, Tesla really doesn't have a presence, because even at 35, 40,000 with no import tariff, it's just cost prohibitive for too many in the market.
The name of the game is Robotaxi, dude. It's not trying to sell cars to more markets anymore. eking out
Are they not gonna have-
$7,000 of margin.
Are
What
they
they
not
want to
going to
do
have
is
robotaxi in those markets too?
they want 30,000. Yeah, that's cybercab. Let's make as many cybercabs as possible. No need to try to sell them a 3 or a Y. Just send them
Well, it wouldn't
cybercabs
be
and
a
let them
3 or a
have
Y, it would be something different.
transportation. Yeah.
So where do we go from here?
Yeah,
Well, first, Herbert admits he's wrong.
Okay, I'm wrong, Ryan. You're the best. You're the smartest. You're the best.
Well, no, it's important that we don't agree on everything. Otherwise,
Yeah.
um,
It's not
you
fun.
know.
So that's so we're just going down the list here, Brian. What were the other things that we should categorize? If the big ones. So
Sure.
I mean-
I want to talk about the Dojo pivot.
yeah,
I think that's an important question and a valid question. We were hearing just, as recently as a few weeks ago, some updates, and then kind of out of the blue, this hit us. I did not have that on my bingo card for this year or any
Mhm.
year. I would suspect that you both know more about these topics than I do. So I think Nick should go first because you're young and hip and you know the computers.
just putting your baseball cap backwards makes you hip.
Yes.
I also have an ABB shirt on.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't even know what that. That means that we're not hip, Brian.
No, it's
Enough said.
it's a breaker company, like switch gears, breakers, it's for my electrical engineering days. I'll tell you what, I don't care about all that with Dojo. You're gonna make decisions, that's good and all. The biggest issue I had with it was that we had to learn about it from Bloomberg. And that really is starting to get old. It's one thing. This is where Elon is failing investors. Okay. I get sick and tired of having to learn things through Bloomberg or whatever other mainstream media. And we have to learn it through the pipeline. And then everyone hears like, no, it's not true until we hear from Tesla or whatever. And then turns out, while the last 6 stories weren't true, this one was true. And then Elon eventually comes out and addresses it. And it's like, it just blows my mind. For a man who wants to constantly talk about the fake media and, mainstream media is lies and all this stuff, he sure has a tactic to keep them employed and keep them giving them the juicy headlines. He knew about this. He knew what they were doing. And he has, everyone's telling me, well, he's busy. He doesn't have time. Well, he's got plenty of time to address it after the fact. So why don't you address it before the fact? Like, it's not that hard. You made a decision. Go ahead and let us know the decision. Don't why are you giving this oxygen of life to Bloomberg or anyone else? It's honestly annoying because then we're sitting there caught flat-footed. And look, if you're not gonna have a marketing team or anything, well, the people out there who are doing all that for you, how about you have their backs a little bit and don't let them get caught on their heels? And all of a sudden they're like, well, we don't know because we try not to leak rumors or whatever we hear. But the second Bloomberg gets it, it's like, okay, is this true? Is this not true? About 15 hours later, Elon responds to talking about why and it's all that stuff. And the only comment that I got back, I mean, Elon actually commented on one of mine, but I don't think he actually understood what I was saying. But was Omar sending me a part where Elon addressed things? Like, I guess they could have been clearer on this. I'm like, clearer on this? Everything they addressed made it sound like everything was smooth sailing with Dojo on the earnings call. What are you talking about being clear? If there's a time to address it, it's then. So I just this is what I don't get. It's like, guys, if you know something's going to happen, just say it. You're addressing it regardless. So why don't you just get ahead of it? Just let us know. And guess what? When it comes from you, it's not a big deal. Like that's my only beef with it. I don't care that you made a change, but we don't need, this is unnecessary drama. It's unnecessary. They have enough drama. They have enough hurdles. If you're going to make a big change like that, hey, just let people know. That's all.
I'm with you 100%. I've been very frustrated with Tesla's PR approach for years, obviously. And I get the same kind of pushback when I say PR is a thing that grown-ups have, like a real company has it. I've never seen a company with over probably 150 people that doesn't have someone dedicated to PR. They do have a marketing team that's behind the scenes that coordinates events and whatnot, but it's very haphazard. It is very ad hoc, and it is frankly a disaster. And the idea that Elon is capable of filling all these domestic roles. Well, now he's the head of European production, of manufacturing. I think that's stretching him too thin. I think that's another way of saying that role is simply just not filled. We're just not filling it because that's a full-time job. And if it's not a full-time job, hire somebody who's going to work 10 hours a month and tell me how that goes, because I don't think you're going to be very pleased with their performance. So, I think communication is unforgivably bad and needs to be corrected. And I'm tired of people telling me that, no, we are the marketing department. No, we're the marketing guessers. We're the public relations guessers. And I would agree. That's a weak spot.
The last thing, and I'll throw it to you, Herbert, but it's look, we're at a point now where when we get this, what we assume is FUD for a little bit from these mainstream media, now it's like, well, who here is going to stick their neck out and say that it's not real? Because what I hear lately now is not, oh, that's just FUD, just mainstream media, or they're lying or whatever, they got bad information. Now what I'm hearing people say, well, we're not going to confirm anything until Elon or Tesla say something about it. And it's like, guys, so you're agreeing, regardless, they're going to say something about it. So why do we have to wait till after the fact? Say it ahead. Control the narrative. Herbert, what do you think? Like, are we?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. You're dead on. Another good comment you're making here. It's hard to know what is real and what's not. Even what Elon is saying, we don't know yet. Did he disband the Dojo team, or did they leave? 20 of them left, and then which came first? This is what he did say. He said, right, it doesn't make sense for Tesla to divide its resource and scale two quite different AI chip designs. But why were they doing Dojo in the first place? Because initially he thought that Dojo would be hyper optimized for video training, and then that the AI5, AI6 series would be hyper optimized for inference. But he said that doesn't matter. And then he goes, once it became clear that all paths converged to AI6, I had to shut down Dojo. I had to make tough personal choices. Dojo 2 was now an evolutionary dead end. So he made it sound like here, it was his decision. He let those people go. They decided to continue on by creating a new company. Dojo 3 lives on, okay? Because theoretically, it's Dojo 3, because it's basically AI 6. In a supercomputer cluster, it would make sense to put many AI 5-6 chips on a board, whether for inference or training, simply to reduce network cabling complexity and cost by orders of magnitude. This is one of those scenarios, by the way, that is very interesting, because you know how, first of all, we trust Elon because we think that he's one of the most brilliant minds on earth. He has knowledge of the technical, he has knowledge of the business strategy, and often he makes the right calls. So in this call, he started Dojo, and he's at the first, right, he kept saying, we don't know if this is going to succeed. So he wasn't already saying full force is going to work, but he's going to invest in it. Whether or not he made this decision to go to AI5-6, it's actually the best decision for Tesla. It will turn out to be what he called the epic outcome. Watch this. Watch this video from NVIDIA. This is Jensen Huang. He did this in March of 2024. And do you know what he says? He says basically that training and inference is one market. And inference is 1 billion times larger. But if you listen to this, he already is saying last year that really you don't need to make a chip for training, one for inference. You can create one.
Recent stories that NVIDIA will face more competition in the inference market than it has in the training market. But what you're saying is it's actually going to be one market, I think. Can you comment about is there going to be a separate training chip market and inference chip market, or it sounds like you're going to be continuously training and switching to inference, maybe within one chip? I don't know. Why don't you explain some more?
Today, whenever you prompt and AI. It could be ChatGPT, or it could be Copilot, or it could be if you're using a ServiceNow platform, if you're using Midjourney, using Firefly from Adobe. Whenever you're prompting, it's doing inference. You know, inference is so it's generating information for you. Whenever you do that, what's behind it, 100% of them, is NVIDIA's GPUs. And so NVIDIA's, most of the time you engage our platforms are when you're inferencing. And so 100% of the world's inferencing today is NVIDIA. Now, is inferencing hard or easy? A lot of people, the reason why people are picking on inference is when you look at training and you look at an NVIDIA system doing training, when you just look at it, you go, that looks too hard. I'm not going to go do that. I'm a chip company. That doesn't look like a chip. And so there's a natural, and you have to, in order for you to even prove that something works or not, you're $2 billion into it.
Yeah.
And you turn it on to realize it's not very effective, you're $2 billion and 2 years into it. The risk of exploring something new is too high for the customers, and so a lot of competitors tend to say, you know, we're not into training, we're into inference.
40% of your revenue today is inference, but inference is about ready because of chain of reasoning.
Yeah,
right. It's about
to go up by 1 billion times.
Right, by a million X, by a billion X.
That's right. That's the part that most people haven't completely internalized. This is that industry we were talking about, but this is the industrial revolution.
Right.
So the actual market that you want to compete in is on inference. Turns out that Tesla has been creating the AI chips since 2012. Elon believes that they are the leader in inference because of the speed of latency, the battery, the output of energy optimization, and so forth. And that is the thing that's available in cars. It's available, and it's going to be available in all the bots. So for him to say, you know what, I'm just going to go focus on inference. And by the way, that inference will do training as well, that same chip. Let's do it. At the end of the day, it's going to be an incredible outcome for Tesla, regardless if this is, look at a failure by dumping Dojo. So I think it'll turn out to be a good thing.
I don't think anyone questions the engineering decision that was made. It's the
communication of it.
Communication of that message.
Yeah, but there's lots of potential legalities and so forth where, I don't know, who knows?
I would point to the cancellation of the compact. That was a real thing that really happened. There was going to be a human piloted version of the compact and it was called the code name was NV91, and it was canceled in April of 24. And the idea that story wouldn't get out is crazy. And so I guess the plan was wait for it to get out, call it fake news, and then
wasn't Walter Isaacson's book already said that and had chapters written about that?
Then why was it called fake news?
No.
I mean, Elon was furious with Reuters when they reported the cancellation.
Oh, was it Reuters? Yeah. No, Walter Isaacson's book said that Hans and team convinced Elon to make it dual purpose, that they could achieve a passenger-driven and an autonomous vehicle on the same line. That's what Walter Isaac's book touched. It doesn't talk about anything about canceling it.
Right. That was my understanding as well.
Yeah, Elon didn't like it, and then they worked privately behind Elon's back, and then they presented him, and then he loved the idea. That's what the book talks about. Reuters broke essentially the beginning of the year in 2024 that the project had been scrapped. And then that's when Elon came out saying fake news, and then he announced A8.
Right.
That's the timeline of events.
Right. It was. And so that's something that I feel Tesla should have got out ahead of a little better. They had to know that the word was going to get out. I don't know how you would not expect it to get out. It would be more interesting. It would have been, I think, very painless to say, based on the successes we are seeing with FSD and autonomy and our robo-taxi division, we are comfortable that this is the correct move, just so you guys know. And then Reuters wouldn't have had any ammunition. We wouldn't have had months of fighting about what it all meant. I just think it was an unforced error. And I think it would have been better to communicate it.
Herbert, don't yell at us.
No, what? Well, there's nothing to yell, but it's all good. It's all right.
Well, the good news
Guys.
on my front is it is time for me to take my little break before I come back in about 10 minutes for the after show, where I address questions and comments that have come in throughout the course of this show. And in the meantime, I get to take a quick break and relax. But don't
One
worry,
day I want to watch you, what you're doing in that break. Are you just like eating like this?
He puts his recliner on, opens the bag of chips.
Because you're watching the show, right? You're still
I
watching.
continue watching the show, so I know when it ends. I know when to go live. So if you guys are over a few minutes, it's never a problem. I just extend my break and enjoy the show, as you all should. A reminder, you can subscribe to all three of us. We all three have channels. This is a simulcast that goes out on Investing Against the Grain, Futurosa, and Brighter with Herbert.
Brighter.
A pleasure chatting with you as always, Nick. I will see you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Cheers.
All right, I heard Brian, or sorry, Nick, that you had a where are we going? What's going on? Take him off. Okay, you did a show where you're talking about that you think Tesla's all-time high, the stock all-time high is coming. What was your?
Oh yeah.
What's your?
I mean, I don't know if I'm right, but yeah, that's what I believe.
No, last time we had this conversation, right? You were saying this is
It's the same
before
thing.
October 31st. This was last year. And you predicted it correctly that it was going to head that when the stock has been flat for so long, and so nobody was ready for you to say stock was going to jump, and it did. But what's your thinking now? What's your projection now?
I mean, same thing. We're definitely breaking out. You could see it. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to just look at the chart and see that we're breaking out. And I think we're going into a very exciting time. Right, we got robo taxis out there deploying, geofence areas expanding. We're going to see more vehicles out there soon. We're going to get this new FSD model, which I think will be kind of a big unlock for them. I mean, 10x parameters, it's going to be a big deal. I think we're probably going to start seeing new cities. I just think you're going to see the whole road taxi ecosystem just start to expand. We're going to get new vehicles. We're going to have potentially a record quarter in sales. We'll see. I mean, there is an asterisk on it, obviously, because of the EV tax credit, but we're going to have interest rates get cut. I was with Randy 2 weeks ago, and I predicted that we'd have a 50 basis point cut in September. 2 days later, we had that horrible jobs report where we had those big revisions.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, when I was with Randy, he was asking, well, what would cause them to do that, Nick? I'm like, I don't know. It could be a bad jobs report. It could be anything that we don't see. Sure enough, that hits. I'm like, now everyone's talking about a big rate cut. So that's going to come in. And then traditionally, Tesla, this is when they make all-time highs. Is
November and December.
Exactly. Well,
It
October,
falls in
November,
October, but then it might rise in November, December based on charts path history.
Well, no, we broke 1 trillion in October back in 2021. Is that what? Yeah, I remember. I was watching Yashu on the live stream. I'm sitting there running upstairs to my wife, like, "Oh my God, we're breaking 1 trillion!" But that was in October. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so there's just a lot going on, and then if you just throw onto it, what's not at an all-time high, right? You got Bitcoin, you got Meta, you got essentially Costco, more or less. You got Apple, Amazon, Palantir, Nvidia. I mean, you name it. S&P 500, Nasdaq, Dow Jones. Everything's at all-time highs except this one company,
except for Tesla.
So, I think there's just a lot of things in its favor. And like I said, we just broke out of a big wedge, I think is what people call it. I'm not a technical guy. I just look at chart and look at obvious things, and it definitely seems like we're breaking out. I think a lot of people are kind of like, oh, why did we stop going up? It's like, okay, well, you don't go up every day, and these are good things when we stop. And then you throw in just in general the geopolitics. I mean, Trump is meeting with Putin. Hopefully this means that we actually get resolution with Ukraine. We're seeing, some peace around the world. We're seeing that tariffs aren't having the impact that so many thought it would with the gloom and doom. We're seeing CPI come in better. This last CPI we had was at expectations, but it was compared to a very hard month a year ago. So the momentum's all going in the right way right now. That becomes fuel for Tesla to reach all-time highs. Now, we don't want just macro and all that. We want to make sure there's something fundamental, and that's where I think the new vehicles and robotaxi expansion really become those fundamental.
Well, they're not fundamentals
reasons.
until first quarter of next year, where people get ahead of the second half of next year. That's when they become impacting the fundamentals.
Oh, I meant like a fundamental reason. Like there's a reason I can point to that's Tesla specific, not just, well, the market's doing better, right? What's the narrative for why Tesla? Like, what's the reason? Is it just because the S&P's going up and a rising tide lifts all boats? That's not why I wanted to hit all-time high. I want to hit all-time high because Tesla's doing something, and Tesla will be releasing new vehicles. Tesla will, but right now with Robotaxi, guys, this is as slow as it gets. In my opinion, it won't get slower than this. It's only going to get faster. And so, and I would say it's going pretty fast. It hasn't even been 2 months yet. So I think it's going pretty fast. So I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah, today's Wednesday, and Monday the stock popped, jumped up. When on the weekend, everybody thought that the Dojo story was going to be incredibly terrible for Tesla, but in fact, the stock did the opposite. There's two reasons why. When you take a look at the articles and what analysts were saying, one was they thought that the increase in vehicle sales because of the IRA credit going away has got people excited. Now that's a short term. That's a short-term pop, why they're going to jump in today. And the other one is Elon's comments about FSD, 10x parameter releasing or the opening up of he didn't say if it's Austin or California, but opening up to the public. Those were the two reasons that these analysts were saying. But they're short-term. These are just short-term. But do you think that that's enough?
I wouldn't call that short-term.
The stock did pop. Yeah, okay. Tell me what you... I mean,
Are we up to the public?
Q3 is certainly... No, not that one. Maybe that's not one. But it's a reaction to a comment made. We think that this is our plans in the future, right?
I mean, I think it's going to happen. Like, you don't keep expanding your geo area unless you feel
increasing
confident.
Vehicles.
You can choose not to expand how many vehicles you put in it or how many people you open it up to, just because you want to ease into that, because humans are variables. Your geofence area and what the vehicles are doing, how they're performing, that can be more of a constant for you. You understand that. But once you throw humans in there, humans are kind of unpredictable. So you don't know what they're going to do, what stupid things they're going to do. And so I could see that they're trying to be cautious about how they roll this out, who they open it up to. And potentially, I really do think they're also just waiting for this next version to be validated. Because if you're going to open it up wider to everyone, why would you not use the 10x parameter version versus what you have right now? I mean, seems pretty logical to me that you would wait for that.
Yeah. Okay. When all-time high? Are you saying before the end of this year? The end of this year?
Yeah, end of the year. Yeah. Maybe it's January 3rd. Maybe it's December 31st. I don't know. But yeah, end of the year. I think we'll hit all-time highs. I see no reason not to.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
because just looking at the market, like if you think about where we were, let's say when we were at all-time highs December of last year, between December of last year and today, what's the big difference? Well, the big difference is that we have robotaxis out there in 2 different states. Like, that's pretty big deal, pretty big difference. So I think that
was the all-time high last year was the euphoria of the election, right?
Yeah, but even if you use that logic, look at Bitcoin, look at Palantir, look at Nvidia, they're all way past what they were even then. And that was all for the same reason. So I think you just...
I think the argument you've made before, which is it jumped to an all-time high, $420, whatever it was, $417, for no fundamentals. So there's no reason at this point to it not being able to go up that high as well. Why are we thinking we need to wait for the fundamentals to catch up if it already did it once before? So it's really just sentiment.
The fundamentals, it's a poor argument. It's only a good argument for a company like Apple or a company like, I don't know, Walmart. Like when people talk about PE ratios and all that, like it's not the right metric for these companies that are trailblazing. If you're a company who is buying back stocks or issuing dividends, it's a good metric. But if you're a company that is innovating and creating revolutionary technology and disruptive, it's the wrong metric. You're using the wrong measuring stick. So you just got to understand what the arena is and what the right measuring stick is to bring to the game.
Oh, you're very passionate, Nick. So you want FSD advertising or marketing, education,
Want to
and
save
programs, save lives, and you're going to repeat that again next show.
You better believe it. Well,
you did it last show. You did this show.
That.
Until when? Until when? What will they have to do? What will Tesla have to do for you to say, okay, we're on our way?
Well,
some sort of program, some sort of.
Herbert, on the earnings call, they said that they're going to do things to
increase the
get
50%
messages out there and get awareness.
Yeah.
Sawyer responds to my thing saying Tesla's already doing things, but I can't tell you what it is that they're doing. It's secretive. I'm like, okay. So it's been how long since the earnings call? Have we seen anything?
No,
I haven't. Have you?
Yeah. Nope.
Okay. So at least until we see stuff.
Okay. Okay. Get on that. You did that,
on their
and then
call that they
want
need to do it. I'm agreeing with them.
Elon to get ahead of any major communication. He should have communicated that, and then
again, I'm with Elon. We don't want mainstream media to spread lies or misinformation or whatever. Great. Then you tell us what's going on. Don't be reactive. Be proactive.
There you go. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye, all.